The Anunnaki weren't gods. They were aliens from another planet. They needed gold to save the world from an environmental disaster, but gold was rare. They found a solution.
That girl was.
About 50,000 years ago, the Anunnaki arrived on Earth not to help humans, but to use them. Gold is abundant on Earth. The Anunnaki knew this, and they wanted every ounce of it. So they bred us as a slave race to work mines. The planet of the Anunnaki, hiding in the far reaches of our solar system, does exist, not just according to ancient tablets, but according to NASA. The whole world of the Anunnaki has been called the 12th planet by Zecharia Sitchin. NASA calls it Planet 9. Others call it Planet X. The Sumerians and the Anunnaki called their planet Nibiru, and the fates of Nibiru and Earth were about to be
tear them to pieces.
Way to squad that bug out.
It was a sarcastic act. Fano wasn't his given name.
Max Camo.
Science fiction. 2,000 years ago, Fano was young and ambitious. He fought former King Aladdin for the throne and won. The council elected him to see the Bureau through the crisis. But during this time as leader, conditions on the planet were only getting worse.
I had that. Oh, that shit was great. That's the one I had that.
This is punishment for all the bad things I've done.
So dumb.
Down for the count.
Shit. Oh, man. He was funny as shit.
Kaboom!
The sky above Nibiru was a sickly yellow, and the atmosphere was thick.
You look like Shrek.
Stars were once in that sky with no light to be seen. Anunnaki lived for 200,000 years. This long lifespan once was engaged. Was that
Slowly, real careful like.
Max Armor.
Go on. Last.
Adam and the Anunnaki people knew that their planet was dying and that they were running out of time. Adam had the greatest minds in the world working on this problem, but the outlook was grim. Then Otto's son Eugene was ready for war. He said, "Father, I know I can save In all his projects, the greatest minds tirelessly find a solution. They poured over ancient texts and conducted countless experiments, searching for a way to help decay of the world.
Looks like you're getting off early.
Bonus points.
They sent expeditions to the far reaches of the solar system, searching for planets reaching home. They would mine the gold.
See.
These planets, in a desperate attempt to save the world. For years, probes went out, and probes found nothing. Probes traveled the inner solar system and found nothing but useless volcanic rock and toxic gas. Today, none of the probes reported not just the presence of gold, all
is a planet very close to the other star.
Oh, it feels good to laugh. Thanks for reminding me now. Down for the count.
they called the hive that would later become known as Earth.
You don't love sound fun.
It was also an orbit around the star, but it took 3,600 Earth years to become revolution. I thought Earth sounded pleasant. The journey would be dangerous, but the time would be desperate. Soon the Bureau would be making a personal
You
program.
don't love.
The time we urged them to but the Leo
God bless you. Fuck. Tired. Peace.
Max armor. Insta-kill.
The had larger eyes, larger skulls than the Earth. But the Earth beings had 2 arms, 2 legs, eyes, nose, mouth, just like the Anunnaki. Camo sensed concern in Leo's voice.
Do these Earth creatures work with us in our project? They are primitive, but violent. Some animals actually can imagine. But they'll get you. They may perceive us as
Looks like you're getting off early. Does anyone have a lozenge?
Kaboom!
After a brief stop on Mars, the Anunnaki fleet arrived in Earth's orbit. The crew was stunned. The planet was a vibrant blue and green with swirling white clouds.
Yeah.
Vast glimmering oceans seemed to go on forever. The planet was full of life in the sky, on land, and the sea below. Its beauty, but also felt sadness. Their home planet, the Bureau, was dying, and its people were suffering. But that sadness renewed their resolve. They're here for a purpose. Find all the gold needed to disappear. A few ships remained in orbit, while others scouted the planet for a suitable landing site. Eventually, they settled on the lush green plains between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers. Later, this area would become known as Mesopotamia. The reward
Ha! Get that nigga out of here!
Gigi were raised aliens and the Anunnaki found them popping up. As soon as Gigi were defeated, it's like they
Max ammo.
My niggas. Habibi!
the great city of Eridu, to be ruled by
Breathe.
the gods' load was great, the toil grievous, the trouble excessive. The great Anunnaki of the 7 were making the Gigi undertake the toil.
The city was completely fine.
Bruh, one gotta go by damn. Nah.
Bonus points.
God damn. I don't know. That was crazy.
Extracted gold by the ton, and ships began making round trips between Earth and Nibiru. Enki, ruling in his father Anu's name, was thrilled because he demanded more out of them. The slave masters used weapons like particle beams to force the Ajiji to work harder and faster. Enki didn't want to use the workforce this way, but felt he had no choice. The atmosphere on Nibiru was always stripped away. He wasn't sure the gold would get back home in time. Then, against his better judgment, Enki demanded even more output from the mines. The slave masters were told to use any means necessary to get this done, including torture. Stories of dissent circulated among the Ajiji, and the whispers became shouts. No longer would the Ajiji allow themselves to be tortured, and no longer would they work the mines. As the process of devastating the Ajiji, the decision turned on.
And Nagi. What is this?
Insta-kill.
The Ajiji fought bravely, but they failed.
That was blast.
Chains. Enki's brother Neil had been overseeing the mining operations. He was furious. He wanted the Ajiji killed for treason. But Enki felt differently. The Anunnaki and the Ajiji had thousands of years of shared history.
Shall we?
Real shit, pal.
Double points.
OM triple G.
On that fucking dude. Place. I don't want niggas to go to jail. Nah, some niggas just gotta go. The Ajiji.
They were groups of hominids living in forests around the Anunnaki cities. These were our ancestors. They were either Homo heidelbergensis or Homo erectus.
You can't sound and talk like this and get no
One of
cues.
the hominid males intentionally crossed his genetics with the Anunnaki. Enki wanted to create a creature that would be intelligent like the Ajiji, but not too intelligent. They would be strong, but much smaller than the Ajiji. They would be engineered to be submissive and much easier to control. The first experiments were done in a lab, and the results were horrific. Instead of creating a perfect being, the genetic experiments created monsters. Gorgons, cephalopods, banshees, and two-headed dragons. These monsters were on in ancient stories. The Anunnaki changed their approach. They genetically spliced their DNA then, rather than
But you can't sound and talk like this and get no cues.
you look for another ape-like creatures roaming the forest. They named the child Adamo. Yep, Adamo means first man. In Hebrew, the word also means from the ground or earth. In Genesis, God made Adam in his own image from the dust of the ground. In ancient Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian texts, the creation of man is described the same way. Man is created in the image of the god or gods by mixing the blood of a god with the clay of the earth. Ancient Egyptians had a story of
But you can't sound and talk like this.
by mixing a tear of a god with the clay of the earth. Blood or even a tear would contain DNA. And clay in ancient writings doesn't mean an actual clay, it refers to all life on earth. Every culture and religion has some variation of this story. Probably not. And there is that gap in history where hominids go from very simple primates to a very intelligent, advanced race. were far more intelligent than any of the species before us. You'd think there'd be a slow and steady evolution of intelligence, but we don't see it. It's as plain as you can say.
Looks like you're getting off early.
Max armor.
It leads to serious diseases, especially skin cancer. No other animals get sunburn. Mammals have fur or thick skin. Fish scales, even birds' feathers, all offer protection from the sun. Sure, pigs, elephants, and even reptiles can get burned, but they can get themselves by rolling around in mud or changing their skin. Now we have somebody. What did humans
Camo.
But he eventually got sick, but then he died. 14 years, he never had so much as a cold. Now, I know cats, dogs, and animals are pretty sick.
Here we are. How lucky you.
That's my boy!
The claims were not designed for Earth's gravity. It's too heavy. Human-like, but they were about twice our height, 12 to 15 feet tall. This would indicate the evolved on Earth.
Oh, fucking low. My God.
Discovered by science. I think
Down for the count.
Bonus points.
Throwing tank.
Not good for that gadget.
The population of thousands. The Anunnaki taught the new humans all the skills they needed to maintain the city, build homes, plant and harvest crops. But most importantly, the Anunnaki gave humans the skills to mine gold. The Anunnaki were so pleased with their creation, they allowed humans to visit their sacred garden, Eden.
So, Adamo and Eva in the Garden of Eden, eh?
According to ancient Sumerian writing, yes.
Sounds familiar.
Yep, there is a lot of the Anunnaki story in every major religion in the world. But now we run into a problem. Humans didn't look like apes at all. They looked pretty much like Anunnaki, just smaller. And human women were beautiful.
Uh-oh. That always means trouble.
One of these women caught the eye of Enki, the Anunnaki ruler of the city area.
Yeah, there it is. Hey, the guys are up here.
But relationships between Anunnaki and Chi-Chi and humans were strictly forbidden.
Don't sleep with the help.
Oh, come on, that's rude.
I'm serious. You get in trouble with your body with your brains. Just let's go.
That is a humdinger of an idea. Not cool. This is not cool.
They started asking questions. They inherited the Anunnaki's desire for gold and power. But there was a bigger problem. Another trait emerged in this new line of intelligent humans, a trait that would shape the future of our entire species. That new trait was violence.
Oh, let me uppercut him with this swag.
Here you are. Now die.
Looks like you're getting off early.
Insta-kill.
Right?
People killing each other, the violence was out of control. And Neil was especially annoyed by the constant disturbance of humans. He decided to lessen the population by sending a series of plagues.
Oh, this shit is.
After each of these plagues, humans appealed to the god who made them, hoping he helped ease their suffering.
Bonus points.
These units did not produce heroes. They produced monsters. These offspring were a race of giants called the Nephilim. They were cruel and brutal. They tormented and tortured humans. And in many cases, they ate them. First, humans had roots of these.
Down for the count. Screw you, buddy.
Double points.
Throwing tactical.
It takes 3,600 years to orbit the sun. But its orbit is highly elliptical, so the Earth travels way down the orbit millions of light and spins all over the solar system. During this time, it comes very close to the Earth, so the Anunnaki is
Roger. Roger.
Throwing tactical.
The sun was just rising over the mountains east. The animals always got restless at sunrise, eagerly awaiting their breakfast. The animals were more than restless. They were going crazy. His wife groaned and rolled over as he launched himself out of bed. When he got to his farm, the farmer was in shit. His horses were filled with sweat.
I still get it. I don't know what the hell this nigga talking about. I always find something. I don't need, nigga. That's just too much.
The farmer didn't know what caused the sudden panic, but he was sure that the sky. His viewers first noticed it months ago when he moved. It looked like he stopped.
Looks like you're getting off early.
Max ammo.
Much of this was visible during the day. Or he knew it was getting larger, or was it getting closer? It was difficult to tell. The farmer chuckled and bottomed down suddenly and bowed into flight. He scanned the forest and rise to yellow. Then seemed
Operator establishing scores. Right edge, everybody!
Kaboom!
the attic.
And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy. That's sure we give you some straight-up gameplay and our first impressions of the way this game's releasing. As usual, it's me, Jake. Today we're going to we jumped into Gears of War 2006.
Down for the count!
More enhancements and
Bonus points.
PS5. That's what the season after all footage on PS5 with the DualSense. This is pretty historic. It's kind of why I wanted to make a video. Like, I know there have been other Xbox titles on PlayStation now, Forza, Indiana Jones more recently, but Gears was an Xbox mainstay for such a long time. That's how PlayStation was bigger than this. It really seems because this is like by that I mean it's just like a back and forth give and take, and everybody's working for one another.
What a bunch of suckers!
All of that, there is campaign progress, carryover, trophies, all that stuff. And then you can play online, you can play with people on PC, Xbox, PS5, whatever. I just wanted to put that all up front, like right out of the gate, because I think that is the most exciting, most interesting part about this re-release. It's just cool to see more people getting access to one game. I think is good. And I also think a lot of people are finally going to be exposed to Gears 4 that have
Looks like you're getting off early!
Well, it is of course. Multiplayer, I not being like this year is crazy game. Straightforward,
Max armor.
Getting the drop on your enemy, shotgun in the face, chainsawing them, or just shooting them. Honestly, the campaign, the story, remember the characters, the squad that sticks with you, and just so many moments that I honestly think haven't really been replicated in a lot of games. The action. Also, just the level of fun sci-fi shit. The types of creatures, the locust army, the vehicles, the weapons, the technology, the actual surrounding culture of this planet. All that lore is there, all of it is interesting, and there's a reason why Gears went on to make a game, but also a spin-off.
The new ones.
I gotta run.
What up, baby?
Yeah, totally. After playing through some of the campaign, my biggest issues here, like, first of all, it was very wild getting used to playing the game on a DualSense controller. I was just so used to the muscle memory on Xbox. You can tell I'm not very accurate. But my only real issue was that sometimes the squad AI just seemed worse than I remember. Like, dogs would get stuck. People would take cover in weird positions, leaving themselves out in the open. They would kind of try and clip their way through doorways that a character didn't push open yet. Just weird glitchy stuff where it's like a remaster of an old game. That should all be working completely fine. It was nothing crazy. It didn't break the game or anything, but it was just a little annoying to see. Along with that, the only other thing is the color palette. Like, this color palette, it happens with all remasters, remakes, talk about it a lot, but like, the original color and feel and dark and grime is not really here. It's definitely brightened up, it's cleaned up. It's still gritty and grimy and overall grayer than your average game, but it doesn't have that exact quite look or feel as the original. Kind of think of like the change from Elder Scrolls Oblivion to the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster they released a couple of months back. Still, what you do get here is playing the game in 4K at 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second in the campaign on console is really, really good to see. The game does have a lot of options in terms of like accessibility, video, audio settings, and I was able to take advantage of my 120 hertz refresh rate on my TV. And yeah, the game absolutely screams. I didn't have any hitches or anything like that. It seems like it's pretty smooth. Again, I always say I'm not the frame counter, I'm not the pixel counter, I'm not Digital Foundry, but going by feel, it seemed good. It's sharper, faster, higher quality, and the game looks really detailed. And also, the art style for 2005 just really translated well to higher resolution, better texture. It's actually a beautiful game.
I might knock you the fuck out. I'm being honest. Oh, I'm not ready. No, I'm not ready. Might knock you out. I'm being honest.
Cover system, really interesting weapons, good board tally, gameplay that emphasizes which takes and that carries over to skills fresh. I've been getting smoked, headshot, dome, up close shotgun to Nash. Like, it's everything Gears of War you expect to happen to you has been happening already. It seems like the community has really taken to this one. And yeah, I was only able to experience so much of this because I only had a couple of matches where I was good, but that's kind of the addictive nature here. You're going to get into matches where you're just absolutely dumpster.
I'm not
like
ready.
I was, constantly. Then every once in a while, you'll get a good match where you feel confident and you feel like the ultimate badass, literally just exploding dudes right in front of you. And it's that give and take, that push and pull, that win and lose, that just makes this game feel like you just want to, just one more match. That's what's always been it for me. And impressively, the multiplayer suite is not like half-assed here. You have social matches, you have competitive matches. You can also do private matches with full choices of like, different rules, maps, and you get to set everything. Along with that, there's ranking, you level up,
Bro.
different little fun gun skins and character skins you can use. And despite it being like fully featured and having everything you're probably looking for in terms of all the modes, King of the Hill, the 2v2, the Snatcher modes, like all the stuff that people want, I also just appreciate that they didn't try and force in like a battle pass or all this new complex progression or monetization. All of it's pretty straightforward. You win, you do good in matches, you rank, you buy everything else. And, I know it's an old game, so they don't do that as much. But like, I just appreciate that it is still what it is. Matches can be.
I don't know. I'm putting money up. I believe in the Cowboys. Fuck Jerry Jones. I believe in the players, my nigga. The fuck? The players never let me down. It's always fucking the organization. It's like what? It's not Dag or anybody like, alright, bro. Like, obviously, y'all niggas don't know what the fuck y'all are doing.
Marcus Phoenix is a great character. Dom is really the heart of the crew. Coltrane and Baird, like, they're just great. You like everybody with, even Carmine, God rest his soul. Marcus Phoenix? But kind of seeing this world unfold in front of you, you start to understand it more. You understand, like, you're dropped into a world that's already been in war for 40 years. It's kind of fallen civilization. But also the cutscene direction and just the overall music is out of this world. The music still, I think, hits to this day. It really took me by surprise, especially playing with like the enhanced sound. I was like, damn, this music really hits. It's cinematic, it's over the top, but it's just right. It feels like it's built for a movie. So like, I know I'm kind of glazing Gears of War here, but like, I think sometimes it's fun to just take a victory lap. I think it's cool that Gears of War is now on a new platform. And like I said, it seems like it's gonna take a long time for me to get used to playing on a DualSense, but revving that chainsaw on a DualSense is really cool. And if you're not playing on PS5, you're just getting a fresher version of it on Xbox too. As much as I would like for some of that squat glitchiness to get fixed up, like I like what I'm seeing here so far. I'm looking forward to getting back to playing more. That's probably what I'm going to do right now. So let us know in the comments what you think about Gears of War Reloaded. It's a brighter, shinier re-release, a re-release of a remaster. Yeah, I get that. But honestly, it's just a good excuse to talk about Gears of War. So let me know what you think. If you have any history with the franchise, what was your first game? A lot of people, 2 and 3 was their first game. Maybe you started with the first one like I did and loved it from day one. Let's talk about anything Gears down in the comments. If you like this video, clicking the like button helps us out. We really appreciate that. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Solidly. Control. This is Delta.
I'll read you, Marcus. Colonel Hoffman is coming online.
I got you, sorry.
Nice man.
Welcome back to another video on the channel. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. So I'm pretty sure about a week or so ago we got this new replacer bundle in the store, and it dropped with a machete blueprint that's going to be for the cleaver. I'm pretty sure that's a laser or some type of laser pointer or something like that that's on this blueprint. That's actually hilarious because I didn't even notice that until now. I'm going to go and show you guys the death effect here because I didn't focus on it too much. I was just messing around like a couple hours with Cassie last night and got a couple games that I'm going to show you guys today. Yeah, it's a pretty cool death effect. It just disintegrates. And the execution of this bundle, I think I got maybe 1 or 2 going. I really didn't go for them like that, but it's just the crazy knockout execution. You punch them in the face like 3 or 4 times and they just get knocked out. I'm assuming they got brain damage and just die. To be honest with you guys, I wasn't planning on making a video on this bundle, but I just messed around with it some last night. Got some pretty good games and some funny reactions, so hopefully you guys end up enjoying it. Now, before we hop into the gameplay, I want to talk to you guys about something real quick. So a couple days ago, I was just going through different stuff on the back end of my channel, and I seen there was 11 people that were members of the channel. Honestly, I haven't even looked at the member section of the channel or anything like that since probably Black Ops 3 when I live streamed a good bit on the channel. I just said channel damn near 50 times, but I'm sorry. So what I ended up doing is making a couple badges for you guys. It took me about an hour or so to think about the ideas, stuff like that. It's nothing crazy. I'm not going to do emotes, and I'm not going to do like exclusive content, stuff like that. This is just for people that want to become a member and want to have a badge beside their name. For a new member, I have a regular knife. For 1 month, I have a throwing knife. 2 months, a riot shield. 6 months, it's going to be the battle song or the butterfly knife from Modern Warfare 2019. At 1 year, you'll get a golden TKO logo. At 2 years, you get dual wheels Cali sticks. At 3 years, a dual wheel ballistic knife for BO4. And then in year 4, you get the NX Shadow Claw for BO3. And then at year 5, you get my OG logo, my OG TKO logo. I think I changed that during Warzone at some point. So yeah, that's what changed when it comes to members of the channel. Like I said, I'm probably not going to do anything else. I'm just going to leave it at this for now. If you guys want to become a member, you want to get a badge beside your name, then you can. If you guys that are already members, hopefully this is a little bit more worth it than what it was before. But yeah, just wanted to go over that. Hopefully you guys end up enjoying today's video. If you do, as always, I really appreciate it if you drop me a like down below. And subscribe to the channel if you are new right here. Anyways, let's go. Gameplay. I'm dead. Oh, I didn't die. I don't know how. Oh my goodness. Oh my, are you kidding me? I was on all of them. Thank you. That's only got
brain rot.
You hear me? Oh my god, the audio is so bugged. I can hear it loud. What the heck? Yeah, that's crazy. They're just super loud.
Yeah, they're sweaty.
Alright.
Yeah.
You got smacked by a machete and you're going sweaty.
I would do that
I know.
just to give them a little boost.
Oh shit. Those are fighting words. Got one. And another one. That scared the shit out of them. Oh, good stuff. Oh, they disconnected.
Dunkin' Donuts.
They dipped so quick. I knifed them 2 rounds in a row and they just left. 3 of them dipped. Oh. I got Destiny. Oh, I got away somehow, some way. Oh, I got away again. Oh my goodness. I don't know, the audio's so bugged on this map. It's like really bad. What the? I can't hit a tomahawk right now. I suck.
Turn them to pieces.
I know. The audio's so bugged.
I'm disappointed.
It's crazy. So, oh, I'm good.
There's gotta be more gold.
Nightman, is that only?
Nah, it's a cheap knockoff.
Yeah, that's what you have. I'm a soup.
Max ammo.
So that'll never work. Spoiler, works.
Yeah, that's just to get my AG-1
Yeah, but I felt the same way about the platypus. You bird and mammal and the same creature. No way. The spoiler.
Instead of position was describing like predators there
Any chance the car needs to be washed by a girl in a bikini?
Down for the count.
That she's still in nice bed. Boys.
Oh, but she's kind of a bully.
No, but she is. I didn't even want to meet you, but I was too scared to say no to her.
Me too.
Yeah, you know, one time I had to tell her we were cutting the research funding for one of the drugs she was developing.
What happened?
I couldn't do it. She's still working on it. We're not going to talk about this right now.
World's greatest astrophysicist, and don't thank me. You earned it. Howard Wolowitz. The world's greatest engineer. Oh, I'm sorry, I typed that into the laser
Max armor.
Me perfect.
Monogrammed keychains with a built-in laser pointer.
Insta-kill.
Zingen's a fucking company. They got a company. 60% of the market. No commissions on just a couple of good drugs, but market commissions on just our fungal creams will put you in Mercedes.
Hey, look at me. Does this face sell fungal creams? No. This face is cholesterol, drugs, and a book. No one's ever accused me of that before.
Why don't I just give you a number and see what you think?
Are you going to write it on an apple
Like
inside
you're getting
of
off
it?
early.
Well, I was just going to say it. Do you want me to write it on napkin and slide it on?
Kaboom!
Maybe you're doing it out, and that's writing it on a napkin like in the movies. What's it aren't you so amazing this early? Oh, you think I'm amazing? Serious. Not only is she a cool salesperson, she's the hardest worker I've ever seen.
I know. That's why I'm trying to steal her from you.
Well, then you're going to have to do a lot better than this, because I promise you I'm not going to let her go without a fight. You do not want that. She's a biter.
Just think about it.
No, I don't have to. Thanks, but I'm happy where I am. Let's go. Just be great on the
I still believe in you.
$200.
For this, I went to MIT. Some big.
Double points.
Boy, am I gonna get sued. Gentlemen, use your imagination. Did Han Solo freeze to death on the ice planet of Hoth? No. He cut open a tom-tom and used its eternal body heat to warm him up. Hold him down and I'll cut him up.
Down for the count.
Inside bot and then take it outside.
Thought of that. I guess we're done here. Give me some time to fall down. The deep water sailor just come from Hong Kong.
Anyway, hey, blow the man down.
If you give me some whiskey, I'll sing you a song.
Give me some time to blow the man down.
Break off the poop.
Jimmy way, hey, blow the man down.
I'll help you along with the toe of my boot.
Give me some time to blow the man down. What's going on?
I assume you're referring to the sea shanty. That's a rhythmic work song designed to increase productivity.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it totally works. Look, we made this penny blossom in under 3 minutes.
Alright.
Terrific, but
That shit looks kind of cracked, Brandon.
She's making hair accessories. I'm helping her optimize her manufacturing process. All right, break's over. Pay attention to orders. What are you using as a bonding agent? Hot glue. You're kidding. Any of the cyanoacrylates would do a better job.
Oh, good. This isn't boring. I can drop a bomb on this.
The bottom layer with silicone RCD.
Oh, my God.
Bonus points.
Well, they're the waitresses and the little shop.
I'm thinking of the setup of
Looks like you're getting off early.
system to start. We ought to eliminate the middleman. We can install a small server farm with
Max
static
armor.
IC. You'll need some kind of industrial cooling system. Of course, but before we set up a marketing and distribution infrastructure, we should finish optimizing the manufacturing process. To start with, she has a terrible problem with moisture-induced glitter clump.
It's a bitch.
I've seen this before. Common stripper problem. Okay, they sweat, they come.
Ew.
Are you thinking about adding a desiccate like calcium sulfate?
Actually, I'm thinking about this one stripper named Vega. Yeah, but sure, calcium sulfate could work.
Let's think out of the box for a moment. How about a molecular sieve?
Oh. I've got a spaghetti strainer in the kitchen.
Wow. Oh, we can liberate some microporous charcoal from the chem lab. Great. Yeah, Raj, why don't you and Howard go to the charcoal? Leonard, why don't you start working on some preliminary website designs? I'll make some space in our apartment so we can move the manufacturing process.
Oh, what's wrong with my apartment?
It's not my apartment.
What am I gonna do?
Hey, it's your business. Do whatever you want.
Oh. Okay, cool. I'm gonna take a nap.
Come on in. I was surprised to hear you were interested in joining our little team. You up on those trans-Neptunian objects, are we? No, it's a very promising area. In a perfect world, I'd spend 7 more years on it. But I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to work with you on your tremendously exciting and not yet conclusively disproved hypothesis. That's splendid. Please sit down. Well, to your sherry. A little early, isn't it? Not on Proxima Centauri. That's very good. Jolly amusing. But if you don't mind, I'll hold off until sunset on Titan. Well done. I have a feeling you're going to fit in just fine, Dr. Kudropali. Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry, am I late?
No, right on time. Dr. Kudropali, may I present Dr. Millstone from MIT? She'll be heading up our data analysis team.
It's nice to meet you, Dr. Kudropali. I read your paper on Kuiper belt object size distribution. How did you correct for the selection bias?
Well, I ran a simulation. Allowed me to correct for the observational
Down for the count.
It's just fascinating.
Thank you. Would you like to hear more about the
And now. I do what I want when I want.
Insta-kill.
Not today. Sweetie. You don't know the half of it. Oh, yes, I do. Try a dab of this. Rose-scented preparation H for women? Now the H is for her.
Proud of you.
Here comes my joke. How are you doing? Sitting pretty.
So the photon is directed through a plane with 2 slits in it, and either slit is observed, it will not go through both slits. If it's unobserved, it will. However, if it's observed after it's left the plane but before it hits its target, it will not have gone through both slits. Where do you go? What's your point? It's no point, I just think it's a good idea for a tissue. Hang on.
Kaboom!
1 across is Aegean, 8 down is Nabokov, 26 across. 14 down is See, Papa Doc's capital idea. Let's go to Prince. 80. Yes. Is this the high IQ sperm bank?
If you have to ask, maybe you should.
Yeah. I think this is the place.
Billy's out.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
I'll take your time. I'll just finish my crossword puzzle. Oh, wait.
Looks like you're getting off early.
Billy's out.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
I'll take your time. I'll just finish my crossword puzzle. Oh, wait.
Hey,
See, Papa Doc's cat county. 1 o'clock.
Double points!
1 across is Aegean, 8 down is Nabokov, 26 across is MC Hang, 14 down is that's 14 across Port-au-Prince. Nabokov, 20.
Hang on.
1 across is Aegean, 8 down is Nabokov, 26 across is MC Ham, 14 down is your finger, Phylum, which makes 14 across Port-au-Prince. See, Papa Doc's capital idea. That's Port-au-Prince. 80.
Can I help you?
Yes. Is this the high IQ sperm bank?
If you have to ask, maybe you should.
Yeah.
throwing test.
Billy's out.
We'll be right back.
I'll just finish my crossword puzzle. Oh, wait.
Max
I
armor!
don't think I can do this. Are you kidding? You're a semi-pro.
No, we are committing genetic fraud. There's no guarantee our sperm is going to generate high IQ offspring. Think about that. My sister with the same basic DNA mix who goes to visit Fuddruckers.
Sheldon, this was your idea. Little extra money to get fractional P1 bandwidth in the apartment?
And no, I do yearn for faster downloads. If some poor woman's going to pin her hopes on my sperm, what if she winds up with a toddler who doesn't know if he should use an integral or a differential to solve the area under a curve?
I'm sure she'll still love him.
I wouldn't.
Well, what do you want to do?
I want to leave.
Okay?
What's the protocol for leaving?
I don't know. I've never reneged on a proper sperm before.
Lion whole milk. What a dirty trick.
Bonus points!
I spoke to my supervisor about heading up your sales team, and she said she just can't lose her range. You want me to call him? To get my I don't want to leave her short-handed, so I'm sorry.
I respect that. That's what makes you a good employee.
No, thank you. It's just bummer. I know.
Looks like you're getting off early.
Oh, no, I'm sure. No bother. You know,
Close the door. Have a seat.
do I have to?
You really do. So, I talked to your supervisor, and she said that you never stopped me from working on my team. And you know what?
Really? Oh, you know, you should know she's been taking our new antidepressant, and lying is one of the main side effects.
Why don't you want to work with me? I know it can be tough, but that's just because I'm surrounded by useful people. I just think I'm up to it. You know, the last project I managed was my high school yearbook. And I was nearly the first one. There's what makes it. I didn't know that was
Stuck here.
It's nothing but college to be in charge of people that are educated with more experience. But you know, I taught you nothing. I mean, everybody feels like you do, like they're not good enough, not smart enough. But even you, of course.
Dusty, Dusty, you want to meet
Didn't I teach knocking at Stanford? Get Alright, I'm sure some of you are wondering, who is this woman? How did she get to be in charge of the sales team? Is it because she's friends with Dr. Rostenhowski? Because she is. Is it because she was Miss Cornhusker 2001 and still fits in those very same jeans? Because she was, and she does, and they're actually a little baggy. Or is it because she's the best damn salesperson here? Because I am. Now that we're clear on that, here are the drug specs and marketing strategy for Inflaminex. Which, now that I say it out loud, might be a placeholder. Tomorrow I want everyone to have this committed to memory. Do you have it committed to memory? You want to have a contest, Karen? Winner gets a yogurt. No, boss. All right, now we all know what we need to do. Let's go do it. But right now, get out of here, go! That was really impressive. Damn right it was impressive. Okay, that totally worked. Sorry, boss.
Hey,
Hi, sweetie.
I miss you.
I miss you too. So, tell me all about your first day.
Oh, wow. Where do I even start? I got to experience zero gravity.
Down for the count.
You get on this plane that goes almost like 20 seconds. Then you back down
Oh,
like it's
no,
gonna crash.
honey.
And over and over again, no matter how many times you throw up. And the craziest part is, because there's no gravity, the throw up kind of floats there. In a little ball. And if your mouth is open, because you're screaming, sometimes it just floats right back in.
Why am I so
Boy,
sad?
don't want to you that. Whoa!
Buddy, take a breath.
I didn't want the box to come back out. Anyway. Would you do me a favor and overnight me some more underwear? I gotta look at the centrifuge. They're gonna spin me around in them, and I have a hunch I packed a little light.
What happened to you?
We did overnight survival. I gotta look at the centrifuge. They're gonna spin me around in tomorrow, and I have a hunch I packed a little light.
What happened to you?
We did overnight survival training in the wilderness. Big fun, big fun. Question up for you, but I blacked down a little on the way. They said you don't have food or water, and they don't have a sunset Sabbath service like they do at Camp Musprainer. Whoa!
Everything hurts.
I dug in the ground
Kaboom!
with bare hands. And at some point during the night, an armadillo crawled in and spooned me.
Poor baby.
But I did it. I survived. I wasn't sure I was going to when the sandstorm hit. Just pulled my turtleneck up over my head and waited for death. But somehow, as I sat there, wrapped in a cocoon of my own neck sweat,
Is this the best mac and cheese in New
I
England?
found
The short answer?
primal
Absolutely.
part of the human spirit that just wants to keep on living, no matter what the cost. It was so small. Don't think it's possible. I'm severely dehydrated.
Careful. Nice and easy.
Double point.
Thanks, honey. But I can't. If I do, I'd just be a guy with a chance to be an astronaut and gave it. Oh. Weights and more underwear.
Hey, Christy. Hello, Hofstadter. Why are you cleaning that all yourself? Don't you have grad students? Come on. I can't make my grad students do every dirty job. Or so I've been told in writing by the head of
Using
Human
lethal.
Resources. So, look, I'm here to excuse the good spelling the name of the man for the left. Well, there you go. Because deep down, they still need the rock. Lemon? Why are you doing that? Because deep down, Barry is not a good guy.
He's making you clean out barrels of irradiated grease?
Yeah. I made a deal with him to get you these names for your wedding. Why would you do that? Because I was a jerk for lying to you before, and besides, you're my best friend. I want you to have the wedding of your dreams.
Oh
On Mars? Okay, I want Amy to have the wedding of her dreams. And thank you, but I don't want you to do this. It's okay. Well, no, it's not. We're not going to let Barry win. What are we going to do? We have a combined IQ of 360. Perhaps more if that radiation gave you a super brain. Well, you're right. If we work together, we can totally outsmart Barry Kripke. Winter, my nose itches. What do I do? You know the best part of working in the clean room? No allergies. Check it out. Oh, that spends a lot of oxygen.
We should get going to Amy's.
Can you believe there was a time when we would have needed an array of giant Cherenkov telescopes to detect cosmic particles, and here we are, building our own multi-wire detector like a couple of badass.
Here's no single we could but overall not good.
Ladies do love a man dressed like a kitchen garbage bag. Oh, no.
Pitching in here.
You shut the loading doors, right?
I thought you did.
Do you know what a disaster this is?
You mean because this room isn't supposed to have dust in it and we just let in a flying crap machine?
What do we do? Should we call someone?
I tell them that we compromise all the equipment. Let's just get it out of here before anyone knows.
Okay, how do we catch it?
Well, what if we turn off all the lights except for one and it'll come to it?
It's not a moth.
Don't yell at me. You're not going to get any good ideas out of me if you're yelling.
Oh, so if I remain calm, I'll get more gems like turn off the lights.
Hey, we're turning on each other. That's just what the bird wants us to do.
Okay. On the count of 3, I'll shoot the fire extinguisher and get him airborne. Howard, you wave the blanket and guide him towards the exit. Raj, you hold open the curtain so we can fly out.
Sure, a dummy like me can handle something as complicated as a blanket.
You want the fire extinguisher? Yeah, I do. Great, here we go.
One, two,
Hilarious.
You have to think of it out. The blanket.
one, two, three.
Looks like you're getting off early.
It's not breathing. No. I killed it. Oh, not again. What do you mean, not again?
When I was 10, I was playing in my backyard and sat on the blue jay. I tried to bring it back to life with electricity, but it just caught on fire. The worst part was it smelled delicious.
Guys, I found an article here that says you can do CPR on birds.
Great, do it.
I'm not doing it. You killed him. You do it.
I'll do it. No, I need to do it. This is on me.
Okay. Mouth over beak and light chest compressions.
And don't blow too hard. If you pop him, I will vomit.
I am taking a lot of sleep.
Wait, his wings?
Christmas miracle. I might argue a Hanukkah miracle, but I'll take it. Get you outside. Get the curtain.
Someone should really close that loading door.
Welcome. Oh, well, you said you didn't have time to go out for dinner, so I thought we could have one right here.
Oh, come on. We're in the telescope room. It'll be like dining under the stars.
You see this 00? When it says 01, that means it's twinkling. Sometimes it takes a while.
Rajesh, this is so sweet, but you know I'm working.
That's why I already cleaned up in here and all the other rooms in the hall.
Well, I suppose that gives me a little time.
Please sit. I tried to cook you a meal from your homeland.
Oh, really? You make Cuban food?
That depends. Do they have Mexican food in Cuba?
I am facing a great deal of work. I do like things better when famous people also like them.
Tear them to pieces.
The first one's free? With a flash? How do you stay in this nest?
You want to know my secret? I bought stock in all.
Way to swat that bug out there.
Why is it taking him so long to get a joint image? It's complicated. He finds pushing that little door and reaching that big machine uncomfortably difficult.
Yeah, I'm tired. Ready to work. Close the Martian. Let's slide and get feces out of this. The Martian and maybe not Martin the Martian. Although to quote Martin the Martian, I claim this planet in the name of Mars.
Are you okay?
Oh. Then we've got first energy drink. I feel great. Hey, you guys want to wrestle? We could arm, thumb, mud, sumo. We're not fat enough. We're done.
By the way, someone's in the kitchen, I know.
Marking target location.
Chug.
Got to sold my soul to the company store.
Hey, do you want some coffee?
No, I don't drink coffee.
Come on, if you don't stay awake, we'll never finish in time.
I'm sorry, coffee's out of the question, but I mean...
Sheldon, we still have 380 of these things to make.
But I have complete faith that you will make them. Good night.
Yeah. But Sheldon, without your insight and leadership, this entire enterprise will surely fail.
You're right, of course.
Here, this will help.
Very well. But if this leads to opiates or hallucinogenics, you're going to have to answer to my mother.
Look at Planck's constant. People say that's arbitrary. It could not be less arbitrary. If it varied even slightly, life as we know it would not exist. Bam! Now, let's reconsider the entire argument with entropy reversed and effect preceding cause. So, you are thinking of a universe that's not expanding from the center. No, it is retreating from a possibility space. And this is a space where we are all essentially Alice through the looking glass, standing in front of the Red Queen, and we're being offered a cracker to quench our thirst.
Tear them to pieces.
See the face on that thing? Nice.
The whole banana hits the ground. I cashed a check.
You are not really sure this looking good.
I understand why you said you were fine with it.
Yes, I mean, that was before Howard explained to me how awful it would be if he had to work with his significant other. Don't be insulted. He just thinks too much of you would be mind-numbingly tedious. No, keep it short. From what I gather, brevity is your friend. So are we good here?
Misunderstood. What I meant was if we worked together, there'd be too much of me for you.
Down for the count.
Was shown and misunderstood.
Double points.
I didn't say that, but if it's true, I think if we work together and work together,
It would be barely only for the part about conveying significant.
Bonus points.
any option zero to take a heart attack or have a real one. It's nothing in particular.
Very voice, aren't you, boss?
Hi. Why on this young
The object I spotted beyond the Kuiper Belt? Oh yeah, I call it Planet Bollywood. Anyway, because of my discovery, People magazine is naming me one of the 30 under 30 to watch.
Congratulations.
Oh, excuse me, the 30 what under 30 what to watch what? 30 visionaries under 30 years of age to watch as they challenge the preconceptions of the fields. If I had a million guesses, I never would have gotten that. It's pretty cool. They've got me in with a guy who's doing something about hunger in Indonesia, and a psychotherapist who's using dolphins to rehabilitate prisoners, and Ellen Page, star of the charming independent film Juno. So do her. You do the dolphins.
Do I get an honorable mention for designing the telescope camera mounting bracket you use?
Sorry, it's not part of my heartwarming and personal narrative in which a humble boy from New Delhi overcame poverty and prejudice and journeyed to America to reach for the stars.
Poverty? Your father's a gynecologist. He drives a Bentley.
It's a lease.
I'm confused. Is there some sort of peer review committee to determine which scientists will be included?
Peer review? It's People magazine. People picked me.
What people?
The people from People.
Yeah, Exactly who are these people? What are their credentials? How are they qualified? What makes accidentally noticing a hunk of rock that's been traipsing around the solar system for billions of years more noteworthy than any other scientific they bust up on the What? I bet MMP just spends on giving her this kind of crap.
You see the face on that thing? Oh, nightmare fuel.
Proud of yourself? In general, yes.
Let's go over our emotional responses one last time.
Okay.
Professor Cumberly is dead, and that makes us
sad.
The fact that there's a late figure tonight doesn't make us cranky and claustrophobic. It makes us
glad.
Giving Mrs. Davis the box set of roots.
The madness drives me to do it, Steve.
Unbelievable. You have some nerve showing that
Max Camo.
Excuse me, I'm here to pay my respects to Professor Tupperware, or whatever his name is. So am I. His passing makes me feel bad.
Well, Sheldon, fancy meeting you here. I guess the train store in Glendale wasn't having a cotillion after all. You said you weren't coming here either.
I was thinking I'd send you a message.
Looks like you're getting offered.
What are you going to do? Maybe we'll drink water and
Max Armor.
He plans on flirting with members of the tenure committee to further Leonard's cause.
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Just stand there, take your breaths out.
Mirror cat fight.
Sooner time. Sheldon is the most qualified for the job, and no amount of gravity-defying bosoms going to change that. Seriously, is that tape? Why are you staying up like that?
Way to handle both barrels.
You should be ashamed of yourselves. Using women to advance your cause with sexuality and whatever Amy plans on doing.
Are you implying that my girlfriend has no sexuality to exploit?
Yes.
Okay, because that was not clear.
Sheldon!
That was ambiguous.
Well, now it's ambiguous. What are you going to do about it?
You talk some smack about this man.
Well, yes, of course, you would like that fault. I was feeling in need of sexual release when I happened to come across your mother. What are you doing here? I don't know what you're doing, but I was about to insinuate that I had poisoned Raj's mother for $1.
You do what you want, but I won't lose my friends or protectors. I'm forever. So is the method.
Throwing tech.
Let the world be for itself. Do it.
Down for the count.
What do you think I should do?
Well, you'll always be an academic success, but seriously question whether you make any more friends.
No, I don't want any more of it. Let's go.
Are you kidding? I would love to babysit for you.
I could not ask you to do that.
Nonsense. Children love me. Something about me just makes them laugh and laugh. No. There's enough news to that, sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going in. You need to hold on.
Yeah! Let's go! Workaholic!
I didn't really say that.
Oh,
The concept of coitus ridiculous and off-putting.
Couldn't take my tests out while I had the chance.
Mrs. Davis. Mrs. Davis. I know you're in the parking lot. I just found out that we recommended did myself, Dr. Homestead, and Dr. Beyond Shoulders for tenure.
Despite their quirks, the
Looks like you're
three
getting
little
off
girls
early.
will expect to
What do you mean by quirks? I do want to express my gratitude.
You didn't bring another gift, did you?
No. I understand that was inappropriate.
Good.
Anyway, thank you. Today, I'm going to tell 3 very strange disappearance stories. And in one of them, I'm even going to play some audio that's recently made public. It's very unsettling, so make sure you stick around. But before we get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious limited story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please sneak into the Lightbox house and replace all of their shoelaces with slightly shorter ones. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly updates. Okay, let's get into today's stories. At 8:30 p.m. on August 20th, 2010, a 76-year-old man named John walked through the streets of New Tyrant City, which is a major city. John was on the end of a deep walk, and he was making his way back towards the large town. As John appeared, he happened to notice that the street right outside was a big poster. They had seen it, and as he got closer, he saw there was also this picture of this middle-aged woman. Her name was Camo, and apparently she was missing. Not only that, she also lived in the same building that his daughter lived in, except Chun was actually a dementia patient, and she was staying on the 5th floor of this apartment building complex. Today we have a special video for you guys. It'll be a collection of 4 fan favorites about supernatural encounters. These stories have all been completely re-edited, so even if you have heard or seen them before, it'll be a brand new viewing experience. But before we get into those stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place. The next time you like us is doing stand-up comedy, as they're getting ready to deliver a joke, yell out the thumbs. Also, please subscribe to our channel, turn on all notifications, so you don't miss any of our videos. Okay, let's get into
double points.
In 2006, Susan Lewis and her daughter Jamie moved into a new home in Southern California. It was this nice little house that they referred to as their sanctuary. They loved it there. And shortly after moving in, Susan's new boyfriend, Matt, he moved in as well. Matt and Jamie got along great. Also, Matt had a daughter named Marie, who was the same age as Jamie. And so those two got along great. Susan and Matt are getting along great. One happy family living in this beautiful little home they call their sanctuary. I mean, it's a charmed life. Everything would change when the peanut butter started. A few weeks after moving in, it's this beautiful summer day, and Matt and Jamie and Marie are all outside goofing around in the pool, and Susan steps away from them to go into the house to make lunch for the group. Susan goes into the kitchen, and she sees on the counter that a peanut butter jar had its lid off and had been turned on its side. And oddly enough, the peanut butter seemed to be running out of the jar like it had been melted. It was like an liquid pouring out of the jar and went all over the ground. She felt the temperature of the air, and it wasn't very hot. So she figures one of the kids must have come in here and, for whatever reason, microwaved the peanut butter and then dumped it on the counter. And so the reflection of the it's like, Jamie, her daughter, Jamie, get in here. So she comes inside and says, Mama. She's like, did you do this? And Jamie would say that she literally laughed at her. Like, why would I do that? And her mom's like, well, I don't know. Did you know if Marie did this? And so, no, we've been outside. So she accused her daughter of Marie. And Marie, too, is like, that's the butter. Susan ultimately just kind of says, okay, kids don't want to own up to it. It's a great day today. I'm not going to be. And so she's kind of rationalizing what's going on.
Throwing tack.
Okay, let me get something. Realize that any number of things could have been But I just don't care. Leave the house, and they, all four of them, spend the rest of the day snooping around outside near the pool. When they come back in the house later that day, they find that there have been cans that you would keep in your pantry, like canned food, stacked on each of the steps leading upstairs. They also find that there have been random objects placed all over the house in strange patterns. In the bathroom, they find shampoo bottles stacked on top of one another, hairbrushes arranged in a star pattern. They open the microwave and find peanut butter jars and other random canned foods and stuffed animals from the kids' rooms in the microwave. The cleaning materials underneath the sink had been pulled out and arranged in a height line, shortest to tallest, on the kitchen floor. Also, there were just strange liquids all over the walls. It looked like maybe ketchup or other sauces. They couldn't really tell what it was, but it was sprayed all over the house. There was shampoo on the wall, soap on the walls. And so when Susan and Matt and the girls go inside, they think that someone's invaded their house. So they run back out again. They're kind of looking around the property, wondering what they can do. And no one's come near their property. They would have come to their property. So they start filming. They go in and they film what's going on. That's why we have all the pictures. And they have no idea what to make of this. Matt believes it's James, so not his biological daughter. Susan believes it's his daughter, Marie. And it starts this awful conflict between Matt and Susan. This would be the start of what will turn out to be a major fracture in this family.
Throwing tech.
You guys put yourself in there because you're mad at Susan. You don't want this to be anything other than one of the kids. It is not one of the kids that's the children's fault. It has not been the They believe that the other child is doing this. They believed it so much that they did not see it. But more than that, it would keep Matt and Susan from handling this the way I think anyone should have, which is get the police involved. They don't. So they start cleaning it up, and the house was really a mess. So it took quite a while to clean it up. And they ultimately just kind of moved on in that way that people who are in denial move on because you're in denial. That's what they were doing. So a week passes since finding their house in disarray with cans and jars all over the place and liquids on the walls. And Jamie and Marie are spending some time together in Jamie's room. Marie was sitting at a desk that was next to the bed, and Jamie had a cup of coffee. She puts the cup of coffee down on the desk next to Marie and says, I have to go use the bathroom. She turns around, she walks out, she comes back, and Marie has her head down in her homework. She's not apparently paying attention to anything around her. And Jamie walks in and sees that the cup of coffee that had been sitting on the desk has now been thrown all over her bed. And there's only been one person inside of the room, and that's been Marie. She's like, Marie, what are you doing? Why'd you throw my coffee all over the bed? And Marie pokes her head up, and she's like, what are you talking about? And she looks over at the coffee, and she's just as surprised as Jamie is. She's like, I didn't do that. Jamie doesn't believe Marie. She's mad at her because Jamie believed that Marie was the one responsible for placing the cans and everything all over the house. And so this was just another example of her trying to get attention for something like that. Jamie leaves the room to get some bleach. She comes back and she puts the bleach down on her dresser. She had all her drawers open with her clothes out. And she has this bottle of bleach sitting right at the top of this dresser. And so she goes over to the bed, picks up the cup itself that had the coffee. She puts that back on the table, turns around to get the bleach, and the cap has been turned off, and it's now dumping bleach all over her clothes, pouring out. Marie had been sitting in the chair the whole time, and Jamie had see her the whole time. And so when she sees the bleach dumping all over her clothes, she knows it could not have been Marie. So she screams, Marie looks over, she sees what's going on, she screams. Susan hears this and comes charging in the room, and she's like, what's going on? The girls can't describe what's going on, and as they're standing there, a picture frame falls off the wall. And it startles them all. They're looking over, and then another picture falls. It's one thing to have one picture fall, but to have two fall in close succession to one another, that's not a coincidence. Susan sees the pictures fall, she hears her kids in hysterics, and they run out of there. They get in the car and actually just leave the house because the girls just did not want to be there. This was a big moment in this story because to this point, Jamie, without saying anything, believed Marie was responsible for placing everything around the house and taking it back to the house. Marie felt the same way about Jamie. Yeah, they didn't say each other. Susan was doing the same thing, but she told both of them. Basically, she was letting Marie before Jamie placed everything around the house. Now, Susan started to put stuff in the house and say, something is going on. They actually discussed at some point in the night, Susan, Jamie, and Marie go back. That's just going to work for a when they get back to the house is once again covered in all of the Max Camo. There's liquids all over the wall, and they had neither of them. Now combine it with the fact that we just had this copy and bleach incident, the pictures falling off the wall, they're talking about the house being haunted. You can imagine what it was like to walk into that house and see it like that all over again when it could not have been Jamie or Marie or Susan. When Matt came home that night,
this is a deep pain. A very, very deep pain.
Or even Susan. Because Susan's acting like something's going on here, something terrible was going on here. He wasn't there. He didn't see the talking to people. He didn't see the people. And now he sees his girlfriend buying into this idea that it's something else. He was really skeptical and was just absolutely unwilling to see this as anything other than a bad prank. And now his girlfriend is talking to him. He's like, why are you letting the kids do this? Why are you feeding into this? And she's saying, you don't get Max Armor. Practically anyone throws to pick the house up again, take forever, and put everything back. And by the end of it, it's like no one wants to talk to each other. The kids are fighting with each other. Susan and Matt practically hate each other. And that's how that night wraps up. That night, all the power comes. And all they heard all night
well, that was awesome.
Banging non-stop. And their stove is set to light, so all you hear is that clicking sound. They couldn't get it to turn off. I mean, right in front of them, there's all this paranormal activity, and they're recording it. There's no idea what to do. Even though we do this story and say, come on, guys. Either this is an elaborate hoax or you gotta go to the police. You gotta do something right here. You're doing it wrong. You're in denial, you're fighting with each other. You can't do that. You gotta do something about this. But now put yourself in their position. Their world has been completely turned upside down. Everything they believed and understood about the world is being questioned, right? Understanding of life that they had before this haunting experience. And so they don't handle this one. They just continue
looks like you're getting off early.
At each other's throats, blaming each other for all the things that are blatantly happening in front of them. That have nothing to do with that. For this point, Susan and Matt and the girl just told them to their friends or other people that this stuff was putting on. So the next day, Susan and her old friends would say, here's what's going on. You know, say, maybe you ought to try giving it a peace offering. Maybe this thing in your house, you know, feels like you're intruding, and if you offer some sort of peace offering to demonstrate that you mean no harm, that you want to coexist, that maybe it'll get along with you. Maybe it'll stop. So whether this was good advice or not, we don't know. But Susan finally has something that she has control over, and she really gets into this. She gets the girl. She knows Matt's going to be out for the day at work, and she knows Matt would not be cool with doing this. He would not believe that offering a peace offering is going to do any good. It just caused fights. And so she saw this window of time to take the girls and do this peace offering. She had this little figurine, and Susan loved cats. It was a cat wrapped in
Throwing cat.
And she puts the cat right in the middle, and she doesn't know what to say and how to do it. The girl's just sitting there like, what's happening? And Susan just says, just so happens that as they're performing this kind of rhythm, and he has unslept the night before, before all the craziness, so he left work early.
Double point.
And he comes into the house and literally sees Susan doing this kind of ritual with his daughter and his stepdaughter, and he immediately goes to, like, absolutely not. We're not going to go to... Yeah, it's not weird. And so he goes over and picks up on the attention. And, you know, Susan and the girls are telling him, don't do anything, don't touch it. And he takes the figurine and he walks out to the back deck and throws it onto their backyard. And Susan and the girls are crying because they're like, oh my gosh, you're going to make this so much worse. Everybody's attention is towards the backyard. When they all turn around to look at the manhole, Matt solves the problem. There's a figurine, an identical one of the cat that's sitting in the surface. They all gasp. And the said they walk out to the figurine. Matt doesn't care. Picks it up. And it's just this crazy sequence of events that when you hear the first one, the Susan barely described to perceive something good, and then Matt is
You're getting off early.
Bonus points.
Very opposite of what it was meant to do. Susan would say that she knew that we were going to go through hell. That night, after everybody finally fell asleep, Jamie wakes up in the middle of the night and goes down into the kitchen to get a snack. When she goes in there, she sees written all over the walls, everywhere, is the word cat. Everywhere. And she immediately runs upstairs, she gets her mom, she gets Matt and Marie. Everybody sees that there's this word cat written everywhere. Matt looks at Jamie and says, you're the one that found this. You did this. Susan comes to defend Jamie and says, you're the one, Matt, that smashed the cat figurine. There's no wonder this is happening. And so this horrible fight happens, where they aren't seeing what's actually going on. They're just seeing red and fighting with each other. Meanwhile, they're blatantly being haunted. In addition to cats being different, the house has been completely ransacked. I mean, everything's been dumped out of doors. Everywhere to make a mess, there had been a mess made. And no one woke up to it. They were all in bed. No one woke up to this much of a mess. It didn't make any sense.
Bad idea.
They started cleaning up this horrible mess. And as they move some things aside in the kitchen, they find what looks to be a huge footprint. It is not Matt's footprint. It's certainly not one of the girls' footprints. It's easy for us to say, well, why didn't you go to the police? But you remember that you're in real crisis mode. Your brain will tell you that everything is fine. It will be in complete denial of things that are right in front of you because it's a coping mechanism. And so they did nothing and just let it continue. Susan desperately wanted to leave the house, but she couldn't do it financially. They couldn't leave the house. They couldn't afford to. So they're trapped. At this point, the kids are getting very withdrawn. They don't want to be in the house, so Marie would end up staying in her room all day. Jamie would do the same thing. Matt and Susan were talking. There was just nothing being done to correct the situation, and everybody was so upset and angry with each other. It was just a worst case scenario. So, in the last couple of weeks, that never stayed in the town, was a good week. Two major events occurred. The first one happened when Marie was home alone. She was only going to be there for a couple hours by herself, and even though she was not going to leave her alone, they didn't have another choice, and Jamie wasn't there, so Marie's going to be home alone, and it's night. So this is like straight out of a horror movie. She's sitting in the living room watching TV, and at some point the TV starts turning off and on. So off on, and she knows, because she's been in this house now and seen the craziness, that something bad's happening. And the TV finally just turns off. You can't get it on. Just with the remote. The remote flies on. And she watches as the rockets go right in front of her starts to launch back and forth, as if the person or thing that was holding in the remote had walked over and sat down the rocket ship and looked at the floor. Marie is taking in the rocket.
Double points.
Great eggs, everybody.
Marie and Jamie always having digital camera with them at all times. Because they were taking pictures and filming everything strange happening in the house. And so as she's laying there, she's absolutely terrible. She takes her camera in her hand and kind of turns it and just starts taking pictures of the room. Before running out of the room with her phone, where she calls Susan, she calls her dad, she calls everybody, she's screaming at the phone, she's got to get here, something's going on. And Susan flies home, Jamie flies home, they rush inside, they grab her, she's unhurt, but the house has once again been tossed. And then, after it all kind of settles down, the police says, I took pictures. And so Susan and Matt and Jamie look at these pictures. There are these weird orbs of light that are very clearly in the room with them, that are moving around the room. They do a couple of pictures of them, and they're just totally out of the world. At this point, Matt is convinced that there's something
Like you're getting off early.
in the house. He's not even putting up the charade. This is scam. Because it wasn't. It wasn't his daughter. It wasn't anything. How can we put these pictures? We can't. And so then he decides, well, I don't know who to call. But I think call. And so he tries calling a bunch of creeps. He's trying to get anybody to come over. And the best thing to do is get a pastor to come over and pray with them. So that he can help.
Max Camo.
They know something horrible. They just start. And finally, the second major event that occurred in those final weeks happened to Jamie. She was home. Jamie was in her room, and she starts hearing pounding. She started filming this pounding on her room. There's no one home. And you just hear her voice, just terrified. Someone is pounding over and over on the door. Her bedroom door.
Dirty
at some point
trick.
she knows she has to go into the hall. And so she goes over to the door, she's building the strength to reach down and open the door, and as soon as her hand would go near the doorknob, the pounding on the other side of the door would stop. Like it knew she was about to come out into the hall. And so she didn't open the door. She went back onto her bed and she just sat there in the fetal position for 3 hours, listening to something smashing nonstop into the door. At some point, the banging stopped. After a few minutes, after the banging seems to be done, she thinks this is her chance to escape the house. She opens the door, and there's no one there. But the door on the outside, where the knocking had been happening, there's this huge dent and divot in the door. And the door handle on the outside, from the hallway side, has been bent down. On the ground in the hall is a pile of utensils, pots, pans, silverware, knives. This thing has been using tools to try to open the door. The next door is the bathroom. And the bathroom door is not the door. So there's a space for a door.
Throwing cat.
She thought, I think they're finished. She decides she's going to try to fly. So she goes to a desk.
Too smooth.
She goes back over and loops the string through this hole.
Get stuck, kid.
As soon as she does, she starts feeling some sickness in the door. Someone's pulling her. Falls back in the room. After the swings open, she says, I'm about to come face to face with something else. But before she can see this thing on the back of her bed, the door slams shut. And she hears the rustling of hands and tools and metal clinking against each other right outside her door. She knows this thing is interacting with all those tools and pots and pans right on the other side of the door. Horribly shocked. And after just a moment,
Max
she sees
Armor.
smoke coming into her bedroom. And so she immediately runs to the door to try to open it. And when she does, she sees that now there is a frying pan sitting in the hall that has a toilet paper roll completely on fire. And that there's been toilet paper strewn all over the hallway. Like this is a wick, and it's going to light the hallway on fire. She grabs a sweatshirt, she smothers the fire. At this point, she's in full survival mode. She knows she has to get out of this house. It's trying to kill her. And so she walks down this hall, pulling aside all of the toilet paper, getting ready to come face to face with this horrible thing. She goes into the living room. The whole thing has been covered in toilet paper, paper towels, papers have been strewn everywhere. This thing was trying to light the house on fire.
Bad idea.
So she manages to make her way through this maze of toilet paper. She sees there's no other fire set. And she goes outside, defeated, and just sits on the front steps of her house, waiting for her.
Looks like you're getting off
Susan,
early.
Matt, and Marie were all together. So they came back and they saw Jamie sitting on the front steps, just crying. They go inside, they see the scene. Jamie explains what happens, and that was it. They knew they were going to have to go bankrupt to leave the house. They did not have the money to leave, but they had to leave. And so they barely packed up and they left that house. It didn't sell. Susan literally went bankrupt. Soon after they left the neighborhood, their neighbors left the neighborhood, and 5 other neighbors in their immediate vicinity all left. All of the houses did not sell. They're all vacant. No one knows why. Susan paid mass leaves, leaving that neighborhood, even though they were rich financially. They were very happy to go out of there. They had no other paranormal activity as they left, and they just traveled on and lived their lives.
Just a reminder, Mary's First Book, Mr. Ball presents Change That Experience is out right now and shipping worldwide. You can find it wherever books or audiobooks are sold. This book is truly a brand new experience for anybody who's a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious. Never had a book before, so this is a big deal. It's a collection of 9 stories. Some are new, some are old, but they're all awesome. The artwork is incredible. The storytelling is just superb. So if you have not purchased your copy yet, or you haven't bought it for one of your friends yet, come on, go to book.ballinstudios.com or go to wherever books are sold and get a copy today. Again, that is book.ballinstudios.com or go to wherever books or audiobooks are sold to get your copy of our first book today.
"911 dispatchers hear a lot of interesting stories coming from the other end of the phone. But one group of dispatchers out of Reno, Nevada may win the award for the creepiest 911 calls ever received. When the details of these calls they got were put online, the internet went crazy. Here is their story. There was this old couple that lived about 20 miles east of Reno, Nevada. In 2010, the husband dies, leaving the wife all alone in this house. Shortly after his passing, she began calling 911 2-3 times a week, requesting things like, "Can you please put some water on to boil? Hey, can you change the thermostat?" It was clear she was showing signs of dementia, and the dispatchers were respectful of her and gently told her that this is 911, you can only call if it's an emergency, and at some point the woman would understand her mistake and she would say sorry and she would hang up. No first responders were ever sent out for these calls because it didn't seem like an emergency, it just seemed like a confused elderly person. But no matter how many times they told her, she kept calling back. And eventually her calls took a turn. Instead of calling 911 to ask for help with mundane tasks around the house, she would call 911 believing she was talking directly to her deceased husband, John. The dispatcher would pick up and the woman would say, "John, where are you? John, John." By this time, the dispatchers had gotten so many calls from this woman, they would recognize her address coming through and they knew what to expect. They would answer the phone, they'd be respectful, and they would tell her, like they always did, "This is 911. You can't call here. You need to talk to your family." And again, they did not send a responding unit out to her because it just seemed like she was confused, not in any danger. But one day when she called, she sounded frantic and scared. This time, they would send first responders out to the
Down for the
When the
count.
responding units arrived at her house just minutes after she had placed a 911 call, they go to the door and they're knocking and they're yelling for her and she's not coming to the door and it's all quiet in the house. The door's unlocked, so they open it up, they announce themselves. They walk inside and immediately they can tell the heat is not on. It's very, very cold inside the house. They look around the first floor and can't find her. There's no sign of a struggle. There's probably happening inside of the house. So they go upstairs, they start searching all the rooms, no one's there until they get to the last room, the bedroom. They go inside, and the bedroom is deceased. It has been for several hours because the morning time. The police are able to confirm that the woman who's lying in bed is the same woman who owns the house and lives there. At this point, they call back to dispatch and they tell them, "Hey, the woman that you claim made the 911 call was can't because based on rigor mortis, she was dead." Hey, but the dispatchers are like, "No way. We know what she sounds like. We speak to her multiple times a week. We have a whole protocol there. We see her address come across because we speak to her so much. That 911 call that you got that led you to that call was made by her. What they ultimately decide is the reason for this discrepancy is she didn't have rigor mortis. She was just stiff because it was really cold inside of her house. And that she had died in those couple of minutes between leaving the 911 call and when officers arrived. But in the back of everybody's mind, they're a little freaked out. A few days go by, her call is placed in 911 coming from that woman's home.
Oh,
The
no,
dispatcher
honey.
sees that has to do a double take. Like, that's not possible. But they're thinking, okay, this could be a relative, it could be a friend, it could be anything. Picks up the phone, she's off, and it's a woman who's frantically yelling for John to come here, save me, help me, I need help. And the dispatcher, who's well aware of the distance, well aware that this woman's supposed to be dead, stays calm, goes through the procedure, tries to get more information from this woman, but the call ends abruptly and there's no more information to be had. And so not knowing what else to do, she asks a responding unit to go check this house out. The responding unit goes over to the property, they knock on the door, no one's inside, the door is actually still open, they go in, the house is empty, there's no one there, there's no one that could have made that call. At this point, dispatch is like, okay, this has got to be it. But the next day, same thing happens. Here comes a call from the dead woman's house, they pick it up, and this distraught woman yelling for help, he's my husband, and the dispatcher is trying to get more information, and line cuts out. Once again, we have to send responders to this location because this woman was called 911 and is saying about herself. And once again, the officers get to the house. It's vacant. Just like when she was alive, these calls would persist multiple times a week. They continued even after her house was broken into and burned to the ground. It's not even a house anymore. And there are still calls coming through from that address. Finally, the police get in touch with the phone company. And they explain the situation, and the phone company looks at their records, and they say, actually, the phone but they tell police there's a chance that it might not have been disconnected properly at the site, and that could be a reason why it's still working. So they send a lineman to go check out the actual property to confirm her lines were disconnected properly and that no wires were getting crossed. And he said all of it checked out. Everything has been detached. So the phone company thought perhaps there was a digital recording of her that got trapped in their system and was randomly bouncing to their call center. But the dispatchers would say, you know, it doesn't sound like a recording that's playing the same every single time.
Like you're getting
it's always
off
the same
early.
message. She's yelling for her husband to come save her. But the way she sounds is always different. It's a unique phone call every single time. So because there wasn't a definitive explanation for why this was happening, they had to treat each call like it was serious. So
no, what's up,
for a year, they received these ghosts and to send out responding officers to check on them. Even though the house was gone and there was nothing there and there was never anything. It was just a vacant lot. And then finally, a year after this woman died, the calls just abruptly stopped. And the police did not launch an investigation into the calls because the reality is these people that prioritize things that are threats to people, places. And this really wasn't either of those things. It's really bizarre. And so the official explanation for how a dead woman could be calling 911 from a non-existent phone line in a non-existent house for a year is, we don't know that. In 2006, Dave Murphy had just become a police officer in Salt Lake City, Utah. His first role was as a detective service officer, which meant he'd be in charge of physical security for a number of the county facilities. Dave's first facility was the Capital City Theater, which is a landmark inside of Salt Lake City. It's been around since the early 1900s. It's this beautiful, grand theater. So in early August, Dave reports to the Capital City Theater for his first day on the job.
Using lethal.
His partner, an officer by the name of Morgan Matthews. He gets there on his first day, right away.
Down for the count.
That Morgan was just strictly business. The first place that Morgan takes Dave is the control room. He sits on the first floor of the theater. The theater had 3 floors, and then it also had a basement as well. So the control room was on that first floor. Inside of the control room were all of these security monitors. There's all these cameras set up inside of the theater. The cameras weren't great though. You pretty much could only tell what was in frame if there was a light on. And most of the time at night, especially, lights were on. Once they were done with the control room, Morgan said to Dave, now we're going to go before you come back. Morgan Dave downstairs. The first time Dave is seeing the basement, he's shocked at how big it is. It is this massive hallway that stuff is way down in the middle of the hall. members just sitting out in the middle. And the lighting's not good down there. This is very hard to do. Everything in the building is pretty old. And Dave remembers thinking that he was immediately freaked out by this scene. This long hallway with all these doors and piano right in the middle of the hallway. And he's thinking to himself, I don't want to spend much time down here. This is so creepy. But they go down the hall, they check all the doors. Main floor, second floor, the third floor. Everyone gets checked. So after they do the security round, Dave and Morgan go back to the control room. Dave is anticipating getting to know Morgan a little bit. The first night, they're going to be working together a lot, and Dave would say that Morgan just seemed really cold and just did not want to talk to Dave very much. And as soon as their shift was almost over, Morgan was very eager to just knock out the security rounds and just get out of that building. At the end of that night, Dave remembers thinking that there's just something off about Morgan's behavior. It seemed like Morgan really didn't like being in the theater. It would turn out that he was onto something because Morgan didn't like being in that building. But it would take him a while to share with Dave why. Over the next couple of days, Morgan and Dave would do their security rounds together. Because Dave's in training, Morgan's teaching him. But on August 9th, which is 2 days after Dave's first day on the job, Morgan was confident that Dave knew how to secure the whole building. And so at the end of the night, he tells Dave, why don't you do the security rounds yourself? Dave feels very confident that he knows how to do it. He goes down into the basement, makes sure all the doors are shut and locked, that the lights are off, finishes the basement, goes up to the first floor where the control room is, and checks all the rooms on that floor. He goes into the main auditorium space. He's checking all the different nooks and crannies to make sure there's nobody hiding in there. He goes up to the second floor. He checks all the different rooms up there and the balcony. Makes his way up to the third floor where there's all the offices and staff that work at the theater. At the end of the search, the last room he would check was the rehearsal room. And it was the only room where there was no door to it. So you poke your head in, kind of look around, make sure no one was in there, and then you would leave, and that's the end of your check. So Dave gets to the rehearsal room, he flips the light on, and he looks inside, doesn't see anybody, is satisfied that no one's in there, turns the light off, and as he's about to turn back into the hallway, he hears a door slam with tremendous force right across the hallway from where he was. It was the bathroom door. His first reaction is someone just ran out of the bathroom. Someone who had snuck into the building must have run out of the bathroom, and they're making a break for it to get out of the theater before I catch them. And so he instinctively picks up his radio and he calls to Morgan and says, someone's on the third floor. But when Morgan looks at the camera, he doesn't see anybody. At this point, Dave's drawn his weapon. He's looking down the hall. He doesn't see anybody. And as he's waiting for Morgan to come upstairs to back him up so they can go look for this person that's just ran down the hall, he realizes two things. One, just because he heard the door slam doesn't mean they left it slammed. They could be in the bathroom. And so he's thinking to himself, someone could be in the bathroom right now. Maybe that's why we didn't see him on camera. And the second thing he thought of is that door, the bathroom door, can't slam. It's got this huge hydraulic hinge to it. It can't slam. So his gun is drawn, and he's aiming it at the bathroom door right as Morgan comes up on his right. Morgan draws his pistol, he's got it on the door as well, and they make entry into the bathroom. So it's appearing in all different spaces in the bathroom, and no one's in it. There's no way to get out of it. Morgan and Dave are like, okay, well, they must not have come in here. They must have gone out of the bathroom. There's someone in it. And so they decide they're going to search the entire building and find this person that clearly was just in the bathroom and that's how they slammed the door. We're not going to worry about how they slammed the door with the hydraulic hinge. We just know it was something. So they leave the bathroom, guns still drawn, and they start making their way to the hall. They're checking all the doors, locked. They start making their way upstairs. Second floor, Dave recognizes that the door.
Looks like you're getting off early.
He can see that the lights are on. He had turned them off. So as they're walking down the stairs, he says to Morgan, hey, did you turn the lights on the second floor? Morgan's like, no. So they think that whoever was here, whoever was in the bathroom is on the second floor that was turn the lights on. They go into the second floor, and not only are the lights on, but all the doors on the second floor had been opened. They search the entire second floor. They search every single room. No one's in the second floor. Everything was the way it should have been. Locked, lights off, nothing down there. And they go down to the basement, and even though it was creepy being down there because they've now searched the whole building, and they're anticipating coming in contact with whoever is here, assuming they haven't left the building yet, and there's no one down there. They decided to review the footage from the third floor to see if they could pick up someone running in the hall around the time that door slammed. But the camera was not trained on the bathroom door. So you just have this view down the hall. You can't see the bathroom specifically, not to mention the hallway is dark. And the cameras are terrible without light. And so all they're able to see is the light go on in the rehearsal room while Dave is doing his last check in there. The lights turn off because Dave's about to turn around. And then after that, you just hear this massive slam of this door. You can't see what happened. So they don't know what to make of it. They're both very much on edge that someone might still be in the building. And so they do another sweep of the building, but no one's there. And so they decide to just chalk it up and say, you're hearing things, you're seeing things, I'm sure it's fine. Let's just get out of here. And a couple of days later, on August 11th, Morgan's in that day, so Morgan's alone. And at some point, I'm sitting in the building, and Dixie hears just the talk, right? And so after the experience he had with me a couple of nights ago, so he goes out into the hallway, and he steps into the hall. The whispering seems to go farther and farther away from him down the hall. So he gets out there, he's looking around, he can't see anything, he makes his way down the hallway towards the stairs that go down into the basement wall if you want to go up the second floor. And he gets to the top of the stairway. He's gun drawn, looking down, looking up. He hears what sounds like popping coming from the basement. And at this point, Morgan said that he was actually scared. Imagine being alone in this theater. Just a couple of days earlier, he had this weird experience with slamming doors and doors being opened and lights going on, that somebody else, another police officer with you, you're alone in this theater and you're hearing coughing coming from the basement after hearing voices behind you. That's pretty terrible. So he very slowly starts going down the stairwell, getting ready to clear the corner, and just as he does, the coughing stops. He turns the lights on and looks down the hall, and there's nothing there. He starts making his way down the hall. He's checking every door, making sure it's locked, making sure that everything is secure. He gets all the way down the hall, and he's almost done checking the basement. He smells smoke, and it's coming at the door right next to him. So he locks that door and goes in, and there's no fire. But all he can smell is smoke. So he turns the light on, he's looking around, there's no fire. He's convinced that somewhere down the basement there's a fire. He goes to every single room, and he keeps checking, and nothing. And at some point, the smoke smell dissipates. He checks every space in the theater to look for a fire, and there's no fire. He's wondering if he could call the fire department. He's thinking, well, I tell them there's no fire. So he ultimately, after checking 3-4 times, he's very confident there wasn't a fire. He says, okay, no fire, I guess. I was just smelling things. A few weeks later, on September 4th, Dave had just arrived at the theater. He was there a little bit early. The shift started at 5 p.m. He was there at about 4:30. And when he walked into the building, he sees the 3 scoutmasters sitting at the front desk talking to each other. And as he walks past, one of them is talking about ghosts inside of the theater, and it immediately piques his interest. And so he walked over to the guy talking about ghosts and introduced himself. And it turned out that this guy was a man named Blair Fuller, who was a senior accountant at the theater.
Please leave your message.
Dave asked Blair, what are you talking about with ghosts in the theater? Because I provide physical security here. I've seen some strange things here. I'd just love to hear what you have to say about it. So they head up to the 3rd floor where Blair's office was, and they sit down. Blair says, okay, I got a doozy for you. This happened to me a couple of years ago. I was actually in this office. It was about 9, 10 o'clock at night. I was doing some work, and I heard the elevator kick on. Now, the elevator was right outside of his office, and anytime it was on, the engine was really loud. It was really obvious that the elevator was moving around. And so he's doing his accounting work, and he hears that engine kick on. He doesn't think much of it, but then it clicks that he's the only one in the building. And so he kind of looks out. Office with 2 windows looking out into the foyer where there's this elevator. And he looks out, you can see that the little lights above the elevator showing what floor it's on have lit up and it's going up. So the elevator was in the basement and now it's the 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor. The door's open. And at this point, Blair says that he wasn't concerned. He figured that maybe there's some maintenance, maybe it's scheduled to do that, who knows. But after a little while, the alarm goes off in the elevator, signify that something is obstructing the door from shutting. And he's looking out the window and he hears this alarm, this like ringing sound going on, but the door isn't shutting. It's like there's nothing obstructing the door, why isn't it shutting? And so he leaves his office and he kind of walks over to the elevator and he walks into the elevator. He said immediately he felt this massive drop in temperature inside of the elevator. And as he's standing there, he turns around and he's looking back towards his office inside of the elevator. The doors start to shut. And for whatever reason, he said, I didn't get off. I just decided I'm going to celebrate the basement ball. is that someone had pressed basement and it started going down. And he's sitting there thinking, what in the world is going on? And he's just on an alarm.
He didn't leave.
Then miraculously, when I go inside of it, it suddenly works.
He didn't leave.
He goes to the basement, the door opens, and there he steps out, and Blair says that it took all of his courage to yell out, hey, is anyone down here? And as soon as he did, and he didn't get a response, he said he didn't want to make any noise. The elevator sat in the middle of the hall in the basement. It's that huge hall with that piano sitting right in the middle. The lights are off. And he pokes his head down one way, up and down there. He sees the piano barely from the light of the elevator. And he looks down the other way, there's no one there. And at this point, he's so spooked, he just gets back in the elevator and he hits 4-3, 4-3, 4-3. And he's hitting like door closed, door closed, door closed. The door closes, and he gets back into his office. He goes into his office, shuts the door, he sits down, and he's thinking, well, why did that happen? I gotta find out if there's any maintenance or something. And as he's sitting in his chair, thinking about this strange experience, he hears what sounds like banging sounds coming from outside of his office in that foyer near the elevator. He closes his door and he opens it up and he pokes his head into the foyer. And he looks inside and there's this big filing cabinet, and all of the cabinets in the house have all been pulled out. He certainly didn't do this. It was as if someone was one by one pushing each of them shut. Big, heavy cabinets. He's watching as one by one these things are slamming shut. One by one until the whole thing is shut. And so he goes over and he's like trying to disprove what he just saw. That he can open up a drawer and that it will shut on its own. But none of them shut on their own. You have to shut it. Something has to shut it for it to shut. And so he packed up today and left and did not work another night shift at the theater. Later that night, Dave would share Blair's story with Morgan. He wasn't really sure how Morgan was going to react, but Morgan actually would open up. And he would say, before you started working here, I always felt like I was being watched when I was here. And then we had that experience, obviously, where the lights are coming on, and you heard that banging from that bathroom door. And then just a few days ago, I heard voices coming from the hall, and heard someone coughing in the basement, and I smelled smoke, and there was no one there. And so they start going back and forth, exchanging stories of just how uncomfortable this place made them feel. And so they're wondering what they should do about this. And Dave has this idea. He's like, my best friend, I'll invite him to come over here one night, and we'll tell him that we're giving him a tour of the building. And we'll just see what he says. We'll see if he reacts to anything here. Who knows? Maybe something strange will happen, and then we'll have another person validate. Morgan thinks that's a good idea, and so Dave reaches out to his best friend, Greg. Greg would say that he was a little bit surprised to be getting this offer to come take a tour of the theater, but he was interested, and since Dave was asking, he figured he would oblige him, and so Greg agrees to come to the theater and take a tour. So the next day, Dave and Morgan are at the theater, and Greg shows up, and so they start this tour. They go in the main auditorium, they look around, and they make their way into the basement. Morgan turns on the light, and Morgan and Dave instantly see a little ways down the hall on the left, one of the doors has been opened. And so Dave and Morgan push Greg out of the way. They draw their pistols and they're aimed at the open door. And so Greg just stays behind them as Morgan and Dave make their way down this open door. And when they get right outside the door and they're about to push it open to go inside, the door slams shut right in front of Greg and Dave and Morgan. And they all are looking at each other like, what's going on? And before they can do anything, the door handle starts rattling really aggressively. After the rattling stops, Dave and Morgan look at each other and they nod their head like, we gotta go in there. Greg is scared about being out in the hall alone, so he just follows them in. And so the three of them go into this room. Dave and Morgan are with pistols drawn. It's a small room. There's no one in it. Light switch on, no one in it. Greg suddenly gasps and he points to the corner and he says, someone's sitting in the corner. Dave and Morgan immediately train their guns on what's in the corner, but no one's there. And Greg's like, I just saw someone sitting in the corner. It looked like he had a hood on, he had a sweatshirt on, I don't know, but he was right there. And so Dave and Morgan, they're freaked out because they brought Greg here on some level to disprove the strangeness. And now the three of them are through the door slam, shouldn't have been open in the first place. Greg's claiming to have seen a figure sitting in the corner. This scared the crap out of all three of them. He quickly left, walked, shut off the light. Out of here, Greg leaves, and Dave and Morgan are out. So at this point, all the strangeness that was happening in the theater was getting reported, but it was being reported in a way that Dave and Morgan didn't seem like they were referencing something haunted, but rather someone was breaking in. Ultimately, County installed new cameras inside of the theater. These updated cameras had infrared technology, which allowed them to see better when the lights were on. They were hoping that this would allow them to catch whoever was breaking in practically every time Dave and Morgan are on shift. So on the day that it was installed, September 15th, Morgan is working alone. He's sitting in the control room, looking at the different cameras, and he's kind of playing around with the different screens and seeing what each of the cameras can do. At some point, something catches his eye on the screen. In the main auditorium, it appeared like someone might be sitting in one of the seats, but the camera was zoomed back enough that he couldn't get a clear picture, and he didn't know what was normal in any of these cameras. It was the first time he's looking at any of these screens. And so he's looking at the camera really closely, and he thinks he sees someone, he can't really tell, that has a hood on or a shroud on that's just sitting in the middle of the theater. And it starts turning its head like this. And he can see clear as day a set of eyes. And before Morgan has a chance to do it, it just starts raising into the ceiling and disappears. Morgan didn't even check to see what it was. He was done. He literally quit that day. It was his last day at the theater. A couple of weeks after Morgan has quit, Dave is working alone at the theater. He's in the control room. And all of a sudden, he hears a piano. And there's only one piano in the entire theater. It's sitting in the basement. It's his job to protect this place, so he knows he has to go and check, because it could be some hooligan in the building center. So he leaves the control room, and as he starts walking over to the stairs with his gun drawn, the music is getting louder and louder, the piano is getting louder and louder and louder. He makes his way down the steps, and as he's about to turn the corner, he hears that the guard that protects him just slam the piano stops. But as he turns around the corner and looks,
tear them to pieces.
He knows he's not this entity that's causing his name inside of the theater.
They just let that bug out there.
Right back upstairs, goes in the control room, locks it, stays there, goes into the ship. Upstairs, he starts to everything outside that theater horizon. So sure enough, he was transferred. Over the next 2 months, they didn't have any full-time security at the theater. So different random office